Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we make sense of all those corporate reports. Today we're diving into the New York Times company's latest filing. Prepare for a plot twist or two, maybe not as exciting as the Sunday crossword, but still intriguing. This report is about their annual meeting, specifically what happened when shareholders voted on important decisions. Think of it as a corporate popularity contest, where we see who got elected and what proposals passed or failed. So before we dive in, if you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed and don't forget to check out the Discord channel in the description below where we chat all things corporate. This is an 8K filing which companies use to announce major events. In this case, it's all about the results of their annual meeting of stockholders, which happened back in April. Basically, this section tells us what the shareholders voted on and how those votes turned out. It's like the corporate version of election results. The New York Times company held their annual meeting on April 30, and the stockholders voted on 3 proposals. Let's see what those were. First up, the election of directors. This is where shareholders get to choose who sits on the company's board, which is like the team that guides the ship. The stockholders voted separately, Class A and Class B having different votes, and they elected the people management wanted. Let's look at the numbers. For Rachel Glazer, the Class A common stockholders gave her about 129 million votes, with about 4.7 million withheld. About 11 million shares weren't voted by brokers. It looks like she had pretty strong support from the shareholders who voted. Rebecca Van Dyke received around 104 million votes in favor, but nearly 30 million votes were withheld. It looks like less Class A shareholders voted for her compared to others. As you can see, a huge percentage of shares weren't voted by brokers, meaning the shareholders didn't give instructions to the brokers. Moving to Class B common stockholders, Amanpal Bhutani got 754,554 votes and 0 withheld. In this case, the difference could be that there are way less Class B shares, which means one share is worth a lot more voting power. The second proposal was about picking Ernst & Young LP as the company's independent auditor. These are the folks who check the company's financial statements to make sure everything looks good. The vote was overwhelmingly in favor, about 142 million votes for, 1.5 million against, and 1.7 million abstained. No broker non-votes this time, which isn't applicable in this case. Basically, everyone agrees on who's keeping the books in order. The last proposal was an advisory vote on executive compensation. This is where shareholders get to say whether they think the top executives are being paid fairly. It's non-binding, meaning the board doesn't have to listen, but it sends a message. The Class B common stockholders approved the executive pay, with 51,165 voting for and only 3,340 against. The advisory resolution passed. It's not a huge surprise, but it shows the owners of those Class B shares generally support how management is paid. Now, looking at these results more broadly, the New York Times seems to be on pretty solid ground. The election of directors went smoothly, and the shareholders are on board with the choice of auditors and executive compensation. You may not see this as exciting, but companies want to make sure their shareholders agree with them, and that is exactly what is shown here. However, some shareholders withheld their votes, which is worth keeping an eye on. It could signal dissatisfaction with certain directors or aspects of the company's strategy. Also, the high broker non-vote numbers suggest a disconnect between the company and its more passive shareholders, which is an area they might want to address but probably won't. Alright, that's our breakdown of the New York Times company's latest filing. What's your take on these votes and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.